The ancient master warned, when the fire returns to the horse and the sheep, the world faces its reckoning. And this is the 2026 prophecy, the crimson horse and blood goat calamity. Welcome to Dripping Water Pierces Stone, a podcast for seekers and intuitives to relax, receive, and remember the ancient wisdom. Like water shaping stone, where gentle power, quiet strength can lead to deep transformation. I am Grace New, intuitive guide and feng shui master. Let's begin. Welcome to Dripping Water Pierces Stone. In this episode, we're going to dive into this well-circulated 2026 prophecy, the young fire horse. And this episode stands apart from our past ones. It may stir a certain discomfort, even fear and worry in some of you. But from what we have witnessed at the start of the 2026, it is safe to say that how swiftly the world is shifting, and we can already see things unfolding at a lightning speed. And in moments like this, frankness becomes necessary. So in this episode, I want to really unpack what the 2026 young fire horse is all about. What is required of us? How can we safeguard our wealth, our sanity, most importantly, in the face of the world seemingly to be growing more chaotic by the day? 2026 is going to be a major threshold, and for many, it won't be an easy one to cross. I'm saying this not to startle you, but to remind you something you may have forgotten. And there is one thing for sure, is the fire horse doesn't come quietly. If you look through the history, the evidence is everywhere. So here are a few. 1666, the Great Fire of London burned for 4 days, destroying over 13,000 homes, followed by a plague that killed 1/10 of the population. 1786, earthquake in Sichuan, causing major flood across China. 1906, San Francisco fire. 1966, Cultural Revolution began in China, leading for a decade of chaos and profound social changes. Now, the young fire horse returns in 2026. What we are experiencing right now is not a minor fluctuation, regardless it is on the world stage or in your individual life. It is the undercurrent, a major event, once in 1,000 years convergence. There is this total energy reshuffle that is silently unfolding around us. The very foundation of everything, society, economy, consciousness, our health, is about to be altered in a profound and permanent way. And in Chinese, we call this Tian Dao. Tian means heaven. Dao means the way. It's the heaven's way. It's the natural law of the universe, rebalancing itself. Every 60 years, the cycle comes around. Where humanity fails to correct itself, heaven will act for us. And this is where our ancestor left for us, thousands of years ago. It is a forecast passed down through the language of symbols and cycles, not out of fear, but out of kindness. And right now, this undercurrent is accelerating, gathering its force towards one inevitable eruption point, and that is the year of 2026. So in this great energy reshuffle, this 1,000-year recalibration, the inevitable questions arise. How can we best position ourselves to navigate in this sea of flame and not to be burned to dust? What can we do to protect ourselves? So in this episode, I'm going to share an ancestral insight into the Heaven's Way, which is hidden in the I Ching for thousands of years. The ancients has already laid down the rules, the guidance, to protect ourselves. And I'm going to share 4 specific places that you absolutely need to steer clear of. So make sure you listen to the very end and share with the people you love, because this matters. And when a message like this is shared, its energy is amplified, and we may actually help turn the will of the humanity towards something better, to avoid tragedies, to prevent needless loss. And I trust this power is in your hand. So let's unpack this. Many of you probably sensing this already. Things are no longer the same. What used to seem stable are suddenly falling apart. Business relationship that was okay for years, now ending in a quiet, definitive breakup. Long-term friends who can no longer speak after a small financial dispute. Marriages dissolving under pressure that in another time might have been weathered. And this is where most people don't know that from 2024 to 2043, we are in the feng shui period known as the period 9, governed by the fire energy. Shifting from the heavy, steady energy of earth to the flickering, illuminating energy of fire. And this is a massive energy shift, like 2 continental plates colliding. Think of our external environment, the universe, is like a long-running show of the cosmos, where the universe is the director. And every 20 years, the show changes. And each 20-year period has a different theme, a different energy driving the world. The one we just finished from 2004 to 2023 was the Earth cycle, the Gen period, the mountain energy. Earth is about stability, solidity, reliability, and accumulation. So if you look back across the world over the past 20 years, what defined the era? Earth. Properties, real estate, minerals, physical foundations, tangible wealth. If you invested in property or anything solid and grounded during that time, you were essentially riding the wave of the earth element itself. But fortune is like water, constantly moving. There will come a day when it moves away. Right now, the theme has changed. The curtain has closed on the Earth era. And a very different kind of show is about to begin, or it has already begun. Everyone on this planet must suddenly adapt to fire energy. Fire is beautiful, shiny, deeply attractive, but it is also extremely unstable. Where there is wind, fire intensifies and changes its direction without warning. We know this from the bushfires. It comes and goes in a blink of an eye. When it burns, the flame is magnificent. And yet, everywhere it passes, everything burns to dust. Things that do not have roots will become ashes. Haven't we already felt this since entering 2024? From physical bushfires to fire disasters in dense cities, to sudden industrial blazes across continent, the signs are already here. But why 2026 so critical? Because this is not just a normal fire. It is the young fire sitting on the animal sign of the horse. The heavenly stem is young fire. The sun at its zenith. This indicates fierce competition and collective public anxiety. The earthly branches is the in fire, the fire in the hearth, burning inward. This speaks of hidden risks, sudden emotional collapses, smoldering anxiety within the inner landscape. This is a double fire. This is the year of the invisible blaze meets the hidden ember, and everything in between becomes the fuel. In Chinese astrology, this is also a configuration known for destroying wealth, 比劫夺财. And this makes 2026 the pinnacle of fire intensity in the entire feng shui period 9. But this is also not just metaphysical. Even from the modern astronomical perspective, the peak of the sunspot activity, the solar activity, is forecast for 2026. So during this intense solar activity, the Earth's magnetic field can be severely disrupted. And if you understand the frequency and how we ourselves are magnetic beings, and each of us carry a certain resonance, then you know we too will be influenced by this shift. Under the intensity of the cosmic fire, not everyone will cross this threshold with ease. This is especially true if your personal Bazi chart or destiny chart has already contained strong wood or fire element. And if the energetic temperature of your chart is already high and hot, and the chart itself lacking the cooling water and metal element, then you will feel the celestial heat most acutely. So go and check your chart. For some, the passage will manifest as a health crisis, a sudden heart event, a surge in blood pressure, a nervous system pushed to its breaking point. And for others, it will be a collapse of a major structure they relied on, a career, a partnership, an institution, a long-held belief. And for many, it will be an internal mental or emotional breakdown, a previously stable mind finding itself in free fall. These are not random tragedies. They are the inevitable symptoms of the great energy reshuffle. And in Chinese, we have a phrase for this process called 大浪淘沙. The great wave washes away the sand. And this intensity of the fire period acts as that great wave. It will reveal what in your life is built on solid rock and what is built on shifting sand. So this is what 2026 represents. It's not a personal punishment. It's a cosmic filtration. And this crisis is far greater than an economic downturn or even a war. It is a mental and spiritual crisis. The real battle is within the human mind and spirit, the crisis of the human inner world. The health crisis reveals the body that was already under silent strain. The organizational collapse reveals the system that was already brittle and corrupt. The mental breakdown reveals the psyche that was already clinging to an unsustainable story. So this is the hidden function of this threshold, to separate the essential from the ephemeral, not with mercy, but with pure, uncompromising force of a natural law. And your task is not to fear the wave, but to ensure you are not the sand. And this is what I Ching warned us long ago. In 2026, it is not just the property or money in your pocket that will burn away. And if you are not prepared, this fire will burn away your peace, your heart, your lungs. What it truly burns will be your nervous system, your serenity, tranquility, and calm. So in time like this, what is our way out? And in this special time we live in, there is only one type of people who will not just survive, but also thrive. Who will not collapse, but standing tall in their resilience. And this could be you. These are the people who have done the inner work, who have principles and live by them, who usually live quietly and silently away from the noise, accolade, or fame, who understand the unseen energy, the cause and effect of the universe, not just as theory, but as a law. They have roots in tradition, in faith, in community, in self-awareness and knowledge. The fire does not destroy them. It tempers them. It burns away their impurities, their fears, their outdated attachments, leaving only their essential golden truth. And they are the leaders for the new paradigm. So here you have it. The real test in 2026 is to test our inner fortitude and steadiness, our equanimity, and our focus amidst the turbulence. This requires us to tend to our behaviors, aligning our smallest action with the deepest integrity. Tend to our heart, clearing the clutter of the past resentment, fear, and noise. Opening our mind, not just to new information, but to gain a humble understanding on how the universe actually works. To wash our heart by engaging in a daily practice of purification. So, we have talked so much about the 2026 young fire horse, the prophecy, the element, the feng shui period 9, the intensity of this cosmic fire, and how we can move through this threshold safely by cultivating our inner nature and mental fortitude. Now we're moving into the second part of this episode, and I want to give you some really grounded and practical advice and wisdom coming from I Ching over 2,000 years ago, because our ancestors has already foreseen this. They have already laid down the guidelines, specifically for a year like the young fire horse of 2026. And this is exactly what I'm going to share with you. The ancient advice is clear. There are certain types of places, certain energy environment you must consciously avoid during 2026 and the volatile years that follows. Why? In simple terms, their magnetic field is wrong. it is incompatible. It doesn't resonate with the stability or safety during this period of cosmic combustion. So being in this type of places or locations is like standing in a dry forest during a lightning storm. You are voluntarily place yourself in the path of ignition. So let's break down exactly what are these places that you need to avoid. Number one is the places that draw big, massive crowds. Think about it. These are the places, are the massive promotions in the shopping center, on multiple levels, drawing a crashing crowd. These are famous tourist destinations where people are packed shoulder to shoulder, rushing, pushing. Live events such as concert, festivals, where people are in their heightened emotions. Now, the problem is not about the human connection or gathering. The problem is under the influence of this intense, pervasive fire energy. Places like this can easily be transformed from celebration to disaster. And here's why. In Feng Shui Period 9, particularly during the 2026 Young Fire Horse, everyone is carrying their own spark, their own seed of stress, anxiety, or heightened emotion. When you compress tens of thousands of these individuals charged into one dense space, you have created a volatile compound. And in that environment, all it takes is one moment of friction. A sudden shock, a rumor, a single spark of panic for the entire field to explode. Because fire is an amplifier, multiplier, and can travel at the lightning speed. And this is precisely what happened on the 1st of January 2026. During a New Year celebration, a fire broke out at a bar in the ski resort in Switzerland. So the first rule is clear. In 2026, avoid collective tinderbox of emotions, particularly in a small, confined space, and protect your personal energy field. Number 2, avoid spending time in places with heavy, stagnant, or gloomy energy or qi, such as abandoned buildings, desolated sites, old hospitals, or cemeteries, because these environments possess extreme yin energy and can amplify the uncertainty during 2026. It will drain your vitality and disrupt your spirit. And because 2026 is governed by the pinnacle of the yang energy, when the extreme yang energy collide with this extreme yin energy, or yin qi, this clash can be super volatile and destabilizing. It is like pouring cold water into a pan of hot oil. This is particularly so if your destiny chart possesses either the extreme yin elements or extreme yang elements. So feel free to have a look of your own Bazi chart or destiny chart. And out of the 8 different elements, if you have more than 6 yin elements, such as yin metal, yin water, yin wood, or 6 out of the 8 characters are yang elements, you need to be careful. So practice a sense of caution when you plan or decide to visit venues and places that carries this extreme yin energy, okay? And this energy mismatch can show up as sickness, brain fog, or this constant feeling of being off. And if you do come home from places like this and feeling unwell, like you brought something more than you have wished for, and it is a good idea to seek professional energy cleanse or energy clearing. Number 3, avoid natural environment with high risks. This means consciously avoid places such as wild, inaccessible mountains, unstable terrain where the earth itself appears to be unstable. The most recent New Zealand landslide is an example. Places such as deep, unpredictable waterholes, rivers, streams with sudden currents, or any place where water holds undeniable dominant power. This includes floodwater, rising water, beaches with known risks, shark territories. We've recently seen the unprecedented shark attack in Sydney, New South Wales. So in 2026, the qi between heaven and earth will be highly unstable, amplifying the extreme weather and the natural volatility. And on top of this, under the influence of the intense fire, our human mind grows restless. We talked about this earlier, about our mental state. People instinctively seek stimulation, release stress, and they often do this through risky activities. And in 2026, this can be extremely dangerous. And it is not about fear of nature or about your experience or courage, but everything to do with to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. We need to respect this particular timing. We need to understand the unspoken dialogue between the cosmic energy and the earthly realm. So don't let your split-second carelessness turn into an irreversible accident. Mark Twain said, "Be careless in your dress if you must, but keep a tidy soul." I actually don't know why I said this quote. I think that I want to say, be careless in your dress if you must, but please obey the rule number 3, because you do not want your story to become a statistic during this particular time. Number 4, avoid places where dispute and conflict gather. Based on the 5 elements theory, fire energy is not just the real flame. It also governs disputes, clashes, and heated argument. So when this energy is excessive or unbalanced, as it will be in 2026, it naturally manifests as heated arguments and conflicts, gossip, slander, and verbal attacks. Lawsuit and legal dispute will increase in year of the young fire horse. So is social friction and polarization. Do not linger where arguments flare. For example, outside the courtroom, in the office, where the hostile disagreement or negotiation happen, or anywhere fiery, explosive conflict energy concentrates. Because you don't want to be pulled into the negative vortex. And remember, fire governs the tongue. In the year of the double fire, like 2026, think of every argument as a literal spark, and every harsh word can add to the fuel. the general atmosphere is electrically charged, so dispute will flare easily online, in the physical places, in traffic, at work, or within families. The fire year will look for any outlet to add to the fuel, and your words can become that outlet. Protect your peace by walk away from the pointless debates. Disengage from toxic gossips, and do not post that inflammatory comment. In a year where collective anxiety runs high, a misspoken word at work can burn a bridge. A heated family debate can scorch a relationship for years. The fire outside amplifies the fire within our own speech, our expression. So the ancient wisdom is clear. The rule number 4 is be deliberate with your words and be kind in your speech. Let your words be that cooling water rather than the fuel adds to the fire. So there you have it. These are the 4 specific type of places that you need to steer clear of during 2026. I hope this ancient wisdom from our ancestors, from I Ching, can soothe your spirit during this great energy reshuffle. And don't forget to tend to your heart. Be kind with your words. Be someone's cooling water during this time with your presence, stillness, and calm. And above all, remember, this fire is coming not to destroy the world, but to reveal the one that was always meant to be. As we prepare to close, I want to read this poem, penned almost 100 years ago. Yet, I feel it couldn't be more fitting for this time. And of course, this is the Desiderata, Words for Life, by Max Ehrmann in 1927. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser person than yourself. Enjoy your achievement as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life. Keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy.